Now we will discuss about subquery concept. So subqueries means write a query nested inside another query. That means we will write two queries and one query output is submitted to the another query, that is called subquery. So we call it as inner query, outer query. So the result of inner query is submitted to the outer query. Okay. So how do we write the subquery means? Here we have EMP table and department table. See, I am taking one task so that you can easily understand the concept of subquery. So first of all, here in this employee and department table, what will be the common column? Department number is the common column for this table, two tables. So if we have department number, then we can easily know the employee details and department details also. Department details is nothing but DNAME and location. Okay, but I don't have department number, I have department name. Then how can we know that employee details based on the department name? Okay, we have department name. I want to know the employee details under the department name. So how can we know that? So in this case, we can use join conditions or subqueries also. Okay. So here now we are going to discuss. We are discussing about subqueries concept means write the department table query. Okay. So it is returning all the columns, but I don't want all the column names. I want common column which is exist in both tables department number and based on DNAME. So accounting now execute it, only one column is there, one value is there. So now I want to write EMP, okay, where department number equal to, so we know that department number of accounting is 10. Okay, now we are getting the data, but this is not our complete task. Why? Because to get the employee details which belongs to the accounting department, I have to write two queries. Okay, so this is not a good practice. So take this entire query and give it here. Okay, and execute it. This is the result. Okay, so department number 10 records I can display, but while writing the subquery, giving the equal, that is not a good practice. So give the in operator. Here execution flow is, this is called inner query and this is called outer query. So the inner query result, first this query will be executed and this result will be submitted to the input of this outer query. Okay, so this is called subquery. And here there are some operators which are related to the subquery in all exist. So in any all exist. Any means retrieve data by comparing a value with a set of values returned by a subquery. Okay, that means for explaining this task, Here it is. Suppose if you want to give research and give here, you will get it. So research department number is 20. So you are getting 20. Okay. So now we will see any operator. For this I am taking employee number 10. So observe this. What will be the minimum employee number 10, right? So note it down. 5,2450 employee number salaries 1300. Okay. So I am going to explain the any operator purpose. In employee table, how many records are there? 14 records. Okay. It is 14 records. And in employee 10 table, 3 records. So here where salary greater than any, and here I am not giving salary. See, remember one point. The subquery should not contain more than one column. Okay, this is very important point. So subquery should not contain more than one column. It has to have only one column. Okay, it must have only one column only. So here what will be the salaries? 5,2450 1300. Okay, so if I give this any operator to this subquery, what will happen? Observe this. So what will be the minimum salary of this subquery? 1300 is the minimum salary. Okay, then here query should be like this. When we are executing this query should be like this. Both queries are same. Why? Because this subquery, this any operator, so this entire query output is return minimum salary. Okay, so minimum salary is 1300. So 1300, execute this query, how many records? 8 records. If you execute this query, how many records? 8 records. Okay, so that 1300 will be given to the main query. That is any operator. Any operator returns minimum of that column value. So that is the point. Okay, any operator means it will return minimum of the given column value and submitted to the main query. Okay, if you put all, then what will happen? See, empty records. Why? Because all is quite opposite to any operator. Any operator returns minimum value of the column. All operator returns maximum value of the column. So maximum value in this table is 5,000. Okay, but in employee table there is no records of 5,000 greater than 5,000. Okay, that's why it is not displaying anything. Okay, for example, if you give employee number 20, EMP20, what will be the maximum value? 3,000. If I execute this query, this is the result. Okay, so 3,000 greater than 3,000 means only 5,000 will be displayed. Execute it. Only 5,000 record will be displayed. Okay, and next, exist. Exist means check for the existence of rows written by a subquery. That means if the subquery returns any one row, at least one row, then the main query returns rows. Otherwise, it will not return rows. See, all the 14 records will be displayed. Why? Because this subquery returns at least one row. I mean, 5 rows it is returning. Okay, if this subquery returns at least one row, this main query returns all the records. Okay, and not exist. See, quite opposite. Okay, and in employee table, salary equal to 10,000 I am giving. But in EMP 20, we don't have 10,000 salary records. When it is okay, we don't have the employee number, salary number, 10,000 records. Okay, now execute it. It will not display any records. Why? Because subquery returns empty records. That's why main query also returns empty records. Okay. If the subquery returns empty records, then only if we use not exist means then only main query returns the records. Okay. So that is the not exist. If you know the exist functionality with clear, then you can able to understand not exist easily. Okay. That is about subqueries.